When talking about sexual desire, many people still hold old stereotypes that men are the stronger sex, the more active ones in everything, especially in intimacy. Right, but ladies and gentlemen, science and reality have proven that this is not always true. And in many cases, women can have stronger, more persistent, and even more intense desires than men. Right, so, what are the cases that can prove this? And how intensely does that feeling of desire manifest in women? Let's explore. 1. Cyclical desire and the sudden surge. One of the things that might startle men the most is that women's desire isn't always linear like men's. Right, it tends to fluctuate with the menstrual cycle. And especially, there are periods when desire surges unpredictably. Right, during the middle of the menstrual cycle, ovulation phase. This is the time when a woman's body reaches its peak reproductive capacity. And naturally, female sex hormones, estrogen and testosterone, though less than men, also increase significantly. This boosts sexual desire to its maximum level. Right, a 2008 study by the University of Texas at Austin showed that women often feel 2 to 3 times higher desire during the middle of their cycle compared to other phases. They might actively seek intimacy, become naturally more seductive, and sometimes, this craving can far exceed their male partner's desire. Right, intense feeling. At this time, a woman might feel an unexplainable intense craving, a strong urge to be physically and emotionally close. They might feel their body burning, a desire to be touched, caressed, and their mind filled with thoughts of intimacy. They might proactively suggest, seek opportunities to be close to their partner. And sometimes, their patience for waiting for their partner to be ready is very low. They want to be immediately satisfied. Right, this is not just a purely physical need, but also a deep connection, a release of accumulated energy in the body. Right, real-life example. A wife who is normally quite reserved in intimacy might suddenly wear seductive nightwear during her ovulation days, proactively hug and kiss her husband, or even give clear, green lights. If the husband doesn't notice and respond, she might feel disappointed, rejected, and that can affect her mood and desire in subsequent times. Right. 2. Desire triggered by emotional connection and security. Unlike men, women's desire is often intimately linked with emotions and security in the relationship. Right, when they feel loved, valued, listened to, and secure, their desire can ignite powerfully. And this sometimes far exceeds men's purely physical desire. Right, after moments of deep connection, a romantic date, a sincere conversation about dreams and fears, or simply your boyfriend, husband spending quality time listening to her without judgment. These things can create a strong, chemical reaction in a woman's body, triggering sexual desire. Right, a 2010 study in the Journal of Sexual Medicine indicated that emotional connection is the biggest driver of sexual desire in women, accounting for about 60% of cases of spontaneous desire. Whereas in men, this factor only accounts for about 30%. This is truly remarkable, isn't it? Intense feeling. When desire is aroused by emotional connection, a woman not only craves physical intimacy but also a merging of souls. They want to feel completely immersed in their partner, wanting to experience absolute intimacy. This feeling can be so intense that they cannot think of anything else but being with their partner. Being touched, being loved. Right, real-life example. A wife might have had an extremely stressful and tiring day at work. But when she comes home, her husband proactively prepares dinner, massages her, and then listens to her confide about work pressures. These actions will make her feel loved, understood, and surprisingly, her desire will surge powerfully. She will proactively hug and kiss her husband, and want to be closer. This is a clear example that a woman's desire can be triggered by emotional factors. Right. 3. desire for stress release and the need for satisfaction. Women also face a lot of pressure in life. From work, family, to social relationships. And sexual desire is sometimes a way for them to release stress. Seek comfort. And be satisfied, both physically and mentally. Right. When facing great pressure. After a prolonged period of stress, an argument, or a difficult life event, women may feel an intense need to release negative energy through physical intimacy. Right. This is how their bodies seek balance, peace, and sometimes, the intensity of desire in these moments can be superior to normal desire. Right. Intense feeling. The feeling at this time is not just pure desire but also a longing to be liberated from burdens. To find peace in their partner's arms. They want to melt into their partner. To forget all worries, and to feel the deepest connection. This feeling can make them more proactive, bolder in intimacy, and they will not stop seeking satisfaction until they feel truly relieved. Right. Real-life example. A woman has just completed a major project at work. She has been working tirelessly for weeks. When the project ends, she feels exhausted but also very relieved. At this time, she not only wants to rest but also wants to be hugged and comforted by her husband. And she might be more proactive in intimacy to release stress and find peace. If the husband recognizes and responds, that will not only help her release but also strengthen the bond between the two. Right. 4. Desire to express power and proactiveness, especially in some strong women. In modern society, women's roles are increasingly affirmed, and some strong, independent women can also express their sexual desire actively and powerfully. Right. When they feel confident and in control. Women who are successful in their careers, have a voice in society, or simply those who are confident in themselves and their bodies. They can have very high sexual desire and be proactive in expressing it. Right. A 2023 survey by Women's Health magazine showed that about 25% of women self-identified as having very high sexual desire and were often the proactive ones in intimacy. This number is also something worth acknowledging. Right. Intense feeling. For these women, desire is not just a physical need but also how they express their confidence, their power. They want to be in control, to lead, and they can be very bold, exploring new things in intimacy. They want to feel strong, to be free to express themselves. And that brings them a deep sense of satisfaction. Right. Real-life example. A woman who is the CEO of a large company. She is very confident and decisive at work, and that confidence also extends to intimacy. She might be the one to initiate, come up with new ideas, and want her partner to fulfill her desires. If the man doesn't realize and adapt, he might feel overshadowed or not understand his partner. Right. My dear friends, through these specific cases, I hope that gentlemen have gained a deeper, more startling realization about a very interesting and complex aspect of women. Their sexual desire can be intense, diverse, and sometimes even superior to men's. Right. The most important thing here is not to compare who is better than whom, but for you gentlemen to understand that a woman's desire is a world of its own. It's not just a biological reaction but also a blend of emotions, psychology, and the context of the relationship. Never underestimate or disregard their desire, because that can make them feel neglected, misunderstood. Learn to listen not just with your ears but with your heart. Observe subtle cues, and most importantly, build a relationship full of emotional connection, security, and respect. Then, you will see a woman's desire ignite naturally, and you will have a much more fulfilling intimate life. Right. Understanding these things will not only help you improve your intimate life but also help you build a deeper, stronger, and happier relationship with your woman. Right. Because when you understand her hidden desires, You will be able to love and cherish her in the most complete way. Right. If you have any questions, or want to share your own experiences on this topic, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. I'm always willing to listen and discuss with you, because every opinion of yours is very valuable to us. Right. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notification bells so you don't miss any of our videos. See you in our next conversations. Goodbye and farewell.